Welcome back. Well, how would you bring a smile to the face of a child in crisis? Our next guest created the Red Backpack.
Paul and Chris Gilbertson are the founders of R.E.A.C.H, a program making a difference for kids in traumatic situations. Welcome to the show, both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Nice to have you.
Yeah, well, you said during the break this is the fastest growing crime prevention program for kids.
Yes,
how did you get started doing this program?
Well, we just had the idea, my wife and I, of giving books to kids in the time of a crisis because it helps distract them from the immediate trauma of the situation they're in. And as officers have responded back to this program since we began 2 years ago and the impact it's having on children's lives, they're realizing this is a great connection for an officer to engage themselves with a child in the scene of a traumatic situation, and maybe years from now that child will remember that as a positive connection.
Well, yeah, and as someone who's expressing some warmth to them in what is a difficult situation, we know that police officers are often first responders no matter what the crisis is, and we were talking during the commercial break that these are books that are handed out at maybe a crime scene, but very often in domestic disputes or accident scenes where kids, they don't know what's going on, and sometimes there are people that need, you know, critical care, medical attention, but also natural disasters like maybe floods. Things like that. So there's a whole variety of crisis situations where you respond, right?
Right. And, you know, it's hard enough for adults to go through something like that, and the kids, they just don't know how to react. And if the officers hand them a book, they're totally engaged in that book, then they have something to focus on besides what's going on around them. And we've gotten numerous stories from police officers that are really heartwarming stories. You know?
I bet.
I thought it was really interesting, you know, you started this by going out with your daughter, and you said when you first showed up, you were actually kind of pushed away, so you realized you had to really join forces to make this work.
Yeah, like you said, our first attempt, we got there a day or so after a big flooding in Gays Mills, and everything was roped off. All the kids were gone. And we said, you know, the only way to really get to the children when they need it the most is at the scene of an accident or crisis directly through the police, sheriff, state patrol, and the EMS programs out there.
So how does it work? Because you brought a couple of examples. There are a few books there in front of us, as well as some of the backpacks that we talked about. So is that the key then, that these books and other things are handed out directly?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Each officer has a backpack in their trunk of their car, and they're filled with a variety of books, different age groups, and so when they come across a child, they can look in the backpack and the child can pick out a book that's most appropriate for them.
So they actually have them in their vehicle?
Yeah.
How do you get them to how do you get the backpacks to organizations or departments that are willing to take the packs and hand them out to kids at different crisis scenes?
Well, right now it's just been word of mouth that officers have heard about our program. We started in Dane County about 2 years ago. We handed out 350 backpacks for all the squads and ambulances just in Dane County. And here we are 2 years later, we are in 15,000 squad cars in 10 states around the Midwest. Also California and Texas are involved in the program.
Yeah, you've donated over 175,000 books in that time, but you do have a waiting list right now still of over 2,000 different squad cars who are really needing the backpack. So if people are interested in helping, what are types of things that they can do to help out these efforts?
Well, one of the things we have going on, we are trying to create different events that people can participate in, and also they can do book drives for us. We're calling it a buck and a book drive. We're trying to, you know, we need funding as much as we need children's books. And on our website, which is reachachild.org, people can go there and there's a volunteer section they can click on, and we can send a packet of information that will help them pick what they'd like to do. We'd like to have corporations involved. We're also, as we're growing from a small my wife and I program that we started 2 years ago, it is going to become a national program. And we're trying to find regional and national sponsors to partner with us to bring the program out to all the kids across America.
And what you're holding in front of you is called Kind-Hearted Pig with Wings and a Halo. This is a book that you wrote. So not only are you handing out books to kids, but you've also written some children's books.
Right. This was the first story I wrote inspired by my own children. They were watching a Beavis and Butthead cartoon on TV. And I said, there's got to be something better than that. So I began brainstorming with my wife and my kids what would you like to hold in your hand. And one of them said a teddy bear. The other one said an angel. And I said, why don't we take the wings and a halo off the angel, put him on the teddy bear, and he'll be the rescuer. And then we went from a teddy bear to a dog to a frog to a pig, and all of a sudden we had this whole series. I've written 20 stories, and this is the first one. And we are marketing right now in all the woodmen's markets throughout Wisconsin and Illinois. And we're also seeking more and more distribution places to sell the book, because 100% of the proceeds of this book goes to support the Reach a Child program and our expansion.
100%.
So look for the Kind-Hearted Pig if you want to pick that up. That'll be a good one to raise those funds. And you also have your annual Reach a Child golf outing. That's coming up to raise funds. You can get a foursome together, volunteer. You can just do the dinner only or sponsor a whole. That's Monday, June 14th. Starts at 1 o'clock. There's a awards dinner after that. It's at the Portage Country Club off Highway 33. $75 to sponsor a whole. That's also still available. And you can also visit their website that you said, reachachild.org, for more information about the information, how to donate, or do a buck and a book. Thank you.
So nice to have you. And we have to mention that the Gilbertson's Reach a Child project was actually a suggestion that we got from a Morning Blend viewer.
Yeah, that's right. Sharon Coyle wrote in to tell us about this wonderful project, and that's how they were invited to be on the Morning Blend. So thanks to Sharon, and also thanks to you. And keep those feedback coming, suggestions for people to be on the show. You can always email us at feedback@themorningblend.com. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Really nice to have you.
Thank you so much.